Hi, my name is Mase Okor. I'm a poet and performer, and today we're going to talk about my debut poetry collection, Sitting on the Sidelines. So, Sitting on the Sidelines is comprised of many poems encapsulating the young black male experience from self-love to mental health struggles, identity, masculinity, and it all started in my final year of uni in 2022, 2 years ago, when my lecturer, I was very displeased with the racial diversity on our curriculum, and I let my senior lecturer know about it, and he came back to me with a poetry collection called Poor by Caleb Femi, and once I read it, I was really impressed, and it took me back, and I was like, I could write a poetry collection. I've written a bit of poetry in the past, and I've always been creative in that aspect, but after reading it, I really believed that I could. Caleb has a background in from South London, just like me, and I was able to really relate to the themes that he spoke about, and I want to bring my themes and my life and hopefully relate to the audience and give an insight of empowerment and relatability. There's very strong underlying themes of identity, and I feel as black people we tend to repress ourselves a lot to fit into certain spaces, and I think it's best that we don't fully lose who we are, and we are proud of who we are and embrace who we are. I feel there's a lot of respectability politics that come into play. We shouldn't have to change those things about ourselves. The world is going to need to accept us because we've got the talent, we've got the skills, we've got the ability. It's mostly a look, the judgments of who we are, that can be quite challenging, but I think it's best to remain true to ourselves, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. An ode to the archangels. This is an ode to the archangels, the dark angels from the dark ages, from the coming of ages, the enchanted ones, whose beauty is too abundant to fit into westernized ideals. Long before you were conceived and before you were perceived, you have always been worthy. Celestial minds of divine understanding, keep your kindred spirits close. True camaraderie is a powerful beacon of peace. Yeah, poetry collections are definitely designed to be cohesive. Mine is definitely one that builds on from each poem. My main idea for the structure and the format was the stages of grief. I feel it's a thing that many people relate to and go through, especially denial, anger, bargaining, depression. There's many statistics of depression with young men, young black men in the UK, and it's really important to showcase the words and the feelings that people are going through, to know that they're not alone and that they will be able to go through it, and that the problems will pass and they'll be able to get through it. And most importantly, the acceptance of those issues and being able to move forward. And one that's really overlooked is processing grief. And that's something I really needed to add into my poetry collection. That catharsis of understanding everything that you've been through. You know, years later, you may realize things that you didn't when you was younger or a certain time. And I think it's very integral to look back on these things that we go through, not to hold on to them, but to acknowledge them and move on and move up. Yeah, the poetry collection is filled with many quotes from various historical figures. I believe they bring the reader an intro to the poem, and they also transfer between poems. They cross over. They also open conversations that have been made 50, 100 years ago by whether it's musicians, philosophers, many different figures who've had these deep conversations, whether it's mental health or self-love, very important conversations that I would like to continue and bring up again. I'm very bold with the choices I make when writing my poems and my structure. It usually varies, but it mostly starts from having one line. I have that line in my head and I'm repeating it. And sometimes I want a traditional A, B, C, D, C, D poem structure. Other times depending on the themes of the poem, say if it's about mental health, I tend to have a stream of free-form consciousness, just writing how I feel, writing in the moment. That's how my structures usually come to be. In one of my poems, the structure is of the male astrological symbol, and I'm speaking on suicide men's statistics. And I don't say anything about men, it's just statistics. But if you look at the structure, you'll know it's about men. And I think it's really important to have an image of what we see, but we don't see it. It's like a weird paradox of it's right in front of you, it's right in front of your eyes, but you're not really reading it, but you see it. Yeah. One thing that I want readers to take away from sitting on the sidelines is that it's okay to feel lost and idle. It's okay to feel aimless, that you're just gliding through life and feeling very meh. But, it's a part of life and it's definitely necessary. There's highs and there's lows, but once you make it through those lows, you experience the highest of highs. And through that, I want them to feel empowered. There's a lot of empowerment and self-affirmations that I want readers to really take in. A lot of the quotes are filled with positivity and relatability that they'll be able to understand and connect with. Out with the old view and in with the new. Golden child, beautifully styled. These are the makings of you. Thank you so much, guys. Sitting on the Sidelines will be out this September at our launch parties, online, on Femme Social Press's Instagram. I hope you guys give it a read. It'll be amazing. Thank you.